Alright boys, today we're going to be going over the best way to end up maxing the face of the franchise program in MLB The Show 22. This is going to be the best XP method. Now, there is not an XP glitch yet. So once there is, I will cover it and we will grind it. But there isn't an XP glitch yet that has been found by anybody. And everything that I've tried and worked in the last games isn't working yet. The one thing I will say, other than this method in March to October that I'm talking about today, is that one thing that's actually pretty good for XP is grinding ball player. You get about 15,000 XP per pop whenever you end up finishing like an archetype. So I am just going to kind of throw that out there because that's also another like kind of sleep down method that's really good that I'll come out with probably in a couple of days whenever I do all the ball player stuff. But today we're going to be talking about literally this XP method is the easiest one that I have ever had. You do this while watching Netflix, chilling. You don't have to give any brain power towards the game whenever you're grinding this XP glitch. So it's overpowered, it's a lot of fun, and it's really, really easy. Before we get into this video, make sure you guys drop a like and a sub as we are on the road to 10K, and let's get right into it. Alright boys, so I'm going to try to be as fast as possible in this video. We're going to be going over the fastest way to end up getting XP. Now, right now, I am starting to get there. I've been playing the game pretty much since a couple of days, and I'm already at 90,000 XP in the program. Now, some of you guys will be like, well, only 90,000 XP. 90,000 XP with how everything is set up is pretty good so far. I'm starting to get really close to some of these face of the franchise guys that are definitely going to end up making my squad. I am going to be going after Logan Webb and probably Mike Trout here. I think these are the two best. Obviously, Corey Seager's still really, really good, and I'm probably going to end up getting him eventually. I love Trout's swing, and to say that I have Trout on my team is going to be awesome. So what I'm going to be doing and talking about today is that there are more than one way to actually end up getting XP fast in this game. First thing that I'm going to recommend, and these are just kind of baseline things before we get into the XP method, is do not do the exchanges right now with how expensive they are. I don't think that exchanging live series players day one when you're trying to do collections is just a smart idea in general. Collections, obviously, do the Babe Ruth. I haven't done the Babe Ruth yet, so do better than me. And do the showdown. The showdown is pretty good. It gives you about 15,000 XP. One thing that I will say this year is, I'm going to be talking about a little bit more at the end of the video, is March to October is actually one of the best ways to end up making XP. Now, if you end up doing March to October, you're going to end up making about 72,000 XP if you play on All-Star. I think that All-Star makes the most sense, but if you end up playing on Hall of Fame, I think it's also pretty good. The one thing I will say, though, is I would not play March to October on Legend. It's not worth it. So I'd go up to about All-Star or Hall of Fame, and if you're making about 92,500 XP per program, and let's say that it takes you about 3 hours of game time, which I think is realistic, to end up finishing in March to October, then you are getting roughly around 30,500 XP an hour. Now, that is honestly really, really good. The one thing that I will say about this is that you have to be attentive into this. And the XP method that I'm going to be going over in a second is going to take a lot less brain power. And it's something that you can do whenever you're just watching like Netflix or something and just kind of chilling out. But March to October this year is probably one of the best ways to get XP. And I will say that March to October is a little bit better than the XP method that I'm giving you in this video. But the one thing about my XP video that I always say is that this is something that you can do whenever you're just chilling watching Netflix. So one thing that I am going to show you guys is going to be how I have done it the past couple of years. Now, this is not including whenever there was the walk-in XP glitch with 2 controllers. That is not a thing this year. They ended up patching it. It's worse, and it's about like 8,000, 9,000 XP an hour. It's terrible, the walk method so far. I tried it last night. It did not work. So what I usually like to do whenever I am grinding XP is I will go to create, and I will create a player that's really good. So I'll go to roster control. Now, whenever you are making this player, nothing really matters other than motions and sounds, animations. You want his pitching style to be a current player in Darren O'Day, which you're going to have to go to the 22nd page and scroll down to find, but this is Darren O'Day. It's the fastest pitching motion in the game. You're going to end up just backing out of this and then going to attributes, going to pitching, and you're going to max out his attributes on every single part of this. Now, the reason why you don't have to do pitching clutch because that's not really going to matter. Just basically make sure you do hits per 9, home runs per 9, Ks per 9, and all of these things that really are going to help you end up getting a lot of this. The big thing is that you're just maxing out your player. That way he performs the best when he is in games. Now, what we are going to be doing today, and if you've seen some of my last XP videos on MLB The Show 21, you know that this is kind of the method that I have been doing for a while, just because it takes no brain power, and it's something that I like to do whenever especially with March Madness tomorrow. I am going to be watching March Madness and grinding this. It's something I will do late at night, and it's something that you can do whenever you're not even really paying attention to the game at all, and that's just always been really good to me. I've always liked that. It's something that I kind of value more than just playing March to October over and over. Because March to October, no matter how you are XP grinding, it's going to be boring, boys. It's going to be boring. That's just kind of how it is. But the one thing that I will say about it is that even though it's maybe not the most fun thing in the world, that if you can make it easier, it's going to be a better XP method. And with this XP method, you're going to be making about 25 to 30,000 XP an hour at the beginning of the year. That's pretty good considering March to October, whenever you're grinding and absolutely sweating your butt off, you're only going to be getting about 2,000 more XP an hour. Now, whenever you end up finishing doing the attributes and the motions in sound by changing it, you're going to go to free agent pool and export player. You do that by finishing and pressing start. Now, you can name it whatever you want to do. Might be Brady XP glitch, whatever you want to do that. Alright, boys, once you guys have ended up finishing that, you're going to go to roster control. You are going to go to the New York Yankees. You're going to press manage roster, press on Garrett Cole, import pitcher, and import that brand new player that you just ended up putting in. He's going to be Joe Random, a 99 overall, and he's going to have maxed out stats. Now, from here, what you guys are going to do, now that you have loaded those rosters, is that you're going to go down to exhibition. This is the easy part of it. You're going to go to the New York Yankees because that's going to be who you are going to be pitching with because your card's going to win more games and you're going to have a little bit faster innings. I just ended up doing the Yankees. It made sense. Now, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be going to a double A team that has really, really bad record. So usually I end up picking someone who's atrocious. And honestly, I'm not seeing anyone who's bad. Okay, the Hartford Yard Goats. Honestly, it doesn't matter necessarily what team you end up playing. Just make sure that they aren't a really good farm system as a AA team. That way you are going to be shoving. Now, whenever you are picking a stadium, honestly, it doesn't really matter. One thing that I will do usually is just pick a bigger ballpark. And so we'll go Party Field. Sure, that sounds fun. For presentation mode, you're going to want to make sure that it's fast play. You're going to want to make sure that quick counts are going to be on. And you're going to want to make sure, obviously, it's 9 innings. Now, whenever you get to this screen, what you're going to do, this is very important. Whenever you get on your pitcher, press RT, R2, whatever you were playing with. Just make sure that you player lock your player. And you can actually end up just using the Joe Random guy that you created. So obviously in this XP method, it's always going to be a player lock pitcher method. You are going to grind this out with your pitcher who's throwing sub. He's going to throw really fast at the stretch. He's going to be going really easy. And like I said, you are going to be getting a lot of strikeouts. Now, as far as difficulty goes, I always do Hall of Fame difficulty. This is just always what I do. So make sure that you are on Hall of Fame whenever you are starting this. If you don't want to change this every game, you can go back to the main menu and make sure that your difficulty is always set on Hall of Fame. Now, the next thing that I like to do as far as gameplay to make it go even faster is I will go to pitching again, and we are not going to be running pinpoint in this. We are going to be running classic. Now, this is the ease of the method, is you can just spam fastballs and get strikeouts, and you are going to be absolutely booing. Usually I just throw heaters and curveballs, but obviously the more strikeouts, the more XP you get. You're going to be getting 20 to 30,000 XP an hour on this, and whenever double XP weekend hits in a couple of weeks, it's going to go crazy when it's 40 to 50,000. Again, this isn't better than March to October. What's the one thing that I've said since the beginning of the video. However, it's the second best way to actually end up grinding XP, and this is something that you can do whenever you are chilling and watching Netflix. So I hope this helps you guys out. It's gonna get you about 20 to 30,000 XP an hour. I've been doing this for a while, and it's about the same as it was last year. Just make sure your settings are right and that you have Hall of Fame difficulty on, because if you are doing this on dynamic or rookie difficulty, you are not gonna get much XP at all, and it's gonna make March to October look a lot better than it is. So just make sure that you guys are doing this. It's gonna be pretty simple. It's not that hard of a method. I just like this method a lot because this is gonna be what I am doing, so I cannot pay attention to the game whenever I'm doing this. Turn on Netflix, chill, watch some YouTube, hang out. This is going to be the best way to end up finishing the face of the franchise program. The last thing that I want to say as far as whenever I'm ending this video is that there are probably going to be like an XP glitch or something that ends up coming out, some type of exploit for XP, and whenever that does, obviously I will cover it, but right now I've been trying some things out, and it looks like everything pretty much is patched right now. I want to wait until there's a really good XP method. Hopefully there's another like 2 controllers thing where we can absolutely grind out the method in like 3 hours and finish the program, but right now there isn't. If you made it to the end of the video, make sure you guys drop a like and a sub. I'd really appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.